Today, we are going to make some grass. No, I'm not in Colorado, so it's not going to be that kind of grass. It's our techniques that are so simple and sensible, your mowers will practically build themselves. Oh, hi folks, it's Mad Dog Merv. I'm just eating some boogers. See? I'm eating some boogers. I went to the dollar store and, I get treats for out here in the doghouse for the little kids. And this is what I found. So, tried it out and they're actually pretty darn good. So, while I enjoy these, we're going to look at what we've done to the train layout for the month of September. There's been a few changes, and we're going to talk about the California Zephyr. You may have heard of that train before, and we're going to look at it just a little bit more. So stick with Mad Dog Merv, and we're going to give you our September 2020 update. So in September, the leaves start to turn, especially up in the mountains. And, well, I'm anxious to get going on October and Halloween. So I've started to change over some of my trees to my fall colors here on the layout. The nice thing is I just pluck them out of the stand that they're in and put in my, my fall colors. But I also have some trees that I could just plop down there on the layout. And as you can see, I've added a few trees here. The thing I found out last year is when I made these different trees, the yellows, the orange, and the red, is that I made a lot of them. Actually, a lot more than I need on the layout, so I may be putting some up for sale. So I need to do some track maintenance. It's been a while since I've run trains, and I've been doing a lot of modeling. And one problem that I ran into is my power to the track. If you'll notice here, the top rail has no connector. Well, it has the connector, but it doesn't have the power line run. The power line is actually off to the left, sitting in the bush. So I'm going to have to take that, and I'm going to have to put that terminal connection back on. So I've pulled it up through, and I'm going to solder that back on there so I've got power, good consistent power. That was one of the problems with my my trains stopping and starting, was the fact that I didn't have a good connection. So went ahead and soldered this on there, and now I got a good connection. I went ahead and hid the wire with some more bushes, and I think I'm good to go. So you all remember my bridge that I have going from the south end of the layout to the north end of the layout on the west side that spans that little area. And anytime I want to come or go from my work bench here, I have to move the I have to move the bridge. So I've been thinking, instead of having these connectors that I've had, I really want to just be able to lift it up and put it down really quick without having to disconnect anything. And Lifelike has their power lock track system. And you'll notice these connectors on here and how they're connected. They would be perfect, I think. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these off of some of the Lifelike track that I've got. I'm going to put them on my my rail, and we're going to see if we can make this work. So here is the receiving end of the track, where you can see I've taken two of those connectors and I've put them in place. Now to hold them, I've just put a little dab of super glue behind them so they won't move. So they are in place. They're on the layout. Let's hope that everything fits and lines up perfect. And here's the bridge. And on the bridge end, I've got my two little connectors there. Same thing, just a little bit of super glue so they don't move around. And then we're going to put this in place. The two ends, again, just drop this right in. I'm going to have to put some shims so that it will just drop right in perfectly.
We'll see if that works. So with the getting closer to Halloween, I'm starting to, well, decorate for Halloween. And I found this really cool little statue that lights up like a Grim Reaper holding a couple of skulls. And I'm going to put him right there by the church. Appropriate for me. I'm going to put it right there. And I got these little bat lights, LED bat lights. I thought they looked kind of cool. So I'm going to put those through the trees and whatnot at the parishioner's house. Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun Halloween this year with some of the things I'm going to do. Here's the lighting I have hooked up for the drive-in movie theater, and you'll see that more of this here in just a minute. One thing that I always run into is dust because, well, for one thing, I'm outside. I'm in this big open shed, and so my little swamp gets very, very dusty, and so I have to wipe it off with soap and water, and well, and it needs to be nice and shiny and cleaned up a bit. So I use that Future Floor Care and put a fresh coat on that every once in a while, and you can see it turned out pretty good. There's my movie theater. Added a few more cars to the drive-in movie theater, and I have straightened up and repaired some of the trees that have been damaged uh, over the last few months here in this area of the layout. So I think we're good to go. I got some of the lighting in that I want. So looking down Main Street here, and you can see just off to the left there, my Halloween statue. Of course, he's not on his battery box now, but kind of an interesting look, adding to the layout. Where my crossing arm is, that's been pulled out a couple of times from different things I've been working on, so I've had to glue that back in. And I'll cover that up with some groundwork here a little bit later, but kind of a nice look at night. And here you go. There you can see the monument just off to the right of the church, the Charger Daytona sitting there in the parking lot, and the little bat lights, and my beautiful yellow and red fall trees starting to turn. So now let's finish up with the layout and talk a little bit about our train for the month, the California Zephyr. What a great shot this is. You'll notice the swamp actually looks pretty good here. We've got some of our trees of color along the main route here. Our sign up for the drive-in movie theater, our Bronco headed over there to the theater, and the beautiful silver California Zephyr. Oh my gosh, what an absolutely beautiful train. When I was a kid, I want to say 7, 8 years old, my family and I took a trip over to Denver, and we rode the good old California Zephyr. By then, it was the Rio Grande Zephyr. But what a magnificent, beautiful train. These cars are by Broadway Limited. They light up. They are extremely detailed. They're expensive, but man, are they worth it. And so I went with a consist of about 1970 is the consist that I shot for on this. There were 3 different railroads that pulled the Zephyr, the Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy. And the back east, they pulled it to Denver, and then the DNRG pulled it from Denver to Salt Lake. My railroad's more set up for that, and I even have those engines. But what I really want was the Western Pacific that pulled it from Salt Lake to the West Coast. And I had acquired this engine here is a Bachmann and really kind of a POS. So I turned it into a dummy. But I got these other 2 engines. I can't remember the brand on them, but man, they run great. So I have 3 nice engines, 2 A units and a B unit. And you can see them briefly running there. Beautiful, beautiful looking colors. You notice they have the wings for the Zephyr engines. They have the wings on that nose. The other thing I found interesting is they would paint the trucks pretty much every run because they wanted them to be nice and shiny and silver looking. So that's kind of neat. Anyway, so I picked up all of the cars in the consist for 1970, and you see them here running on the layout. Got some issues trying to keep getting stuck in different areas, so I've got to work some of those issues out. But it sure makes a beautiful, nice, long train. We'll actually talk more about the Zephyr another time and just focus completely and totally on the Zephyr and some of the stories of the Zephyr, but I thought it'd be kind of neat to show it here running on the layout. And here we are with all of our lights on, and I've got the don't have the engine lit up, but there's the engine. It's kind of sitting behind the little whistle stop I got there. But you can see the cars. The first baggage car, of course, isn't lit, but all the rest of these cars on the consist are lit. This one here seems to be having a little trouble. I'll have to check that out. Maybe it's the contacts. But all the way back to the end of the train. And here it is with the green light on, and man, is that just awesome. So I'm continuing to do some more work on the layout, and you'll see some updates come along in October for the Halloween train, but some of the other things that we're doing to the layout that are a lot of fun mostly has to do with lighting, trying to get more things lit on this layout. But I'll tell you what, it's awfully popular with the grandkids. Thanks for joining us, folks, and we'll see you again soon.